Okay, everybody. So this morning we've been talking about needs and wants and how there are certain things that we may need, but there are not, and there are things that we may want, but they're not the exact same thing, right? So we know based on our list that we made this morning before we started reading the book, The Shoes, and some things that we kind of added as well. Needs, we know that something we need or we have to have is food, clothes, shoes. We need to have a home, somewhere where we can sleep, somewhere where our bed. We need hygiene items, toothbrushes, hairbrushes. Those things are all things that we need, necessities. They're things that we have to have. And then wants. Okay, we may want toys, certain kind of toys, really awesome, fancy toys. We may want a certain name brand shoes, Nikes, Adidas, anything like that that is not just an essential shoe, not just a regular shoe, but something that's really fancy or, that maybe all of our friends have or something like that. For girls, makeup. Makeup is something that we want. Is it something that we absolutely need to survive? No. Okay. Baseballs, footballs, we heard a lot of that, lots of sports things. Those can kind of tie in with our toys, hair bows for girls. This is not something that we absolutely have to have. It's not something that we need to be able to survive day to day or to be healthy, and things like that. Somebody mentioned this one, crayons, fancy kind of crayons. Now, we can get, sometimes we do need crayons for some of the things that we do in class, but it's not something that we absolutely have to have. So that can be listed as well. Now, when we think about needs, do we automatically feel like super happy when we think about, oh, well, I have to have food, I have to have clothes, I do have to have shoes, and all of these things? Do we necessarily think about that we get really excited or we get really happy about these things? No, not always. We don't always get super excited about these types of things, okay? But now when we get to wants, the wants side of our T-chart, we feel excitement about going somewhere and getting toys. We feel excited about getting those brand new shoes at the beginning of the school year that everybody's going to be talking about, and everybody's going to have them on, and we want to be just like everybody else, just like in the story, the shoes that we were just talking about. Okay, makeup, baseballs, footballs, any of these type of things give us a feeling of excitement, a feeling of happiness. We get all giddy when we get all these really, really awesome things. Think about like at Christmas and, your birthdays and things like that. Normally, you get things from the wants side of the T-chart rather than things from the needs side of the T-chart. So we know that when we get what we want, what kind of feelings does it evoke? Happiness, excitement. We get really glad, we're really joyful. All of those things are good examples, okay? So when we have any of these wants, we can see that it evokes some kind of emotion out of us. Now I'm going to take this down because I'm going to show you a video, and I want you to think about, while I'm getting this set up, I want you to think about, what do you feel, what kind of emotion do you think you would have if you were allowed to go into a toy store for, let's say, 60 seconds, and you were allowed to get anything you wanted. It did not matter what it was. It did not matter how much it cost. It was whatever you wanted during that 60 seconds. How do you think you would feel about that? What emotions do you think you would feel? Okay. Also, think about this. Would you buy things that you need, or would you buy things that you want? Okay, so all of those things I want you to keep in mind. We're going to watch this twice. The first time we're just going to watch it through. I want you to see what the people are doing inside of this toy store. Watch out for, kind of try to keep an eye on them. And then we're going to watch it again. I'm going to pause and I'm going to bring some things to your attention about the video. Okay?
Time for another electrifying challenge of the Sphinx. Step into the ring, Clementine, Brad, and Oliver! In this corner, a happiness scam. In that corner, a toy store. You have 60 seconds to buy whatever makes you happy. Whoever's the happiest wins!
Are you serious? This is awesome!
On your mark. Get set. Go. And this Clementine, and this bad, and it is all about, and all about Clementine, bad, all about Clementine, Lincoln, Thomas, everything is all about, and all about Clementine, bad, all about Clementine, Lincoln, Thomas, all about, and all about Clementine, bad, all about Clementine, Lincoln, Thomas, I'm lost in their names. 57, 58, 59.
60!
Yes! And now for the weigh-in. Step on the scale, Brad. Kinda happy? So what did you get, Brad?
I don't know.
Your turn, Oliver.
A little bit happy, but I got the most stuff.
Like what, Oliver?
I don't know. Stuff.
Clementine? You're a sight happy!
Woohoo! Say what? She didn't get anything. I did so get something. Pony pencils. I love these. There are 10 different ponies, and you can name them. And there's 10 different colors, and you can...
And the moral is, one small thing you love can make you happier than a ton of stuff.
Okay, so what we saw here was we saw the all three of the kids who were shopping in the store. Okay, they were all able to get anything they wanted. And what we saw with the two boys is they both came out with a ton of stuff in their buggy. Okay, but they could not tell us anything that was there, right? Nothing. They couldn't tell us anything that was there. All right, so then the next thing is, let's watch just for another second, and let's pay attention to Clementine here. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit.
Time for another Sphinx. And Oliver! A happiness scale. In that corner, a toy
Now
store.
I want you to pay attention
You have
to
60 seconds to
Clementine
buy
in
whatever
the
makes you
actual,
happy.
as she's going through in
Whoever
the
is
video.
the happiest wins!
Are you serious? This is awesome!
Your mark. Get set. Go. And this Clementine, and this bad, and it is all about, and all about Clementine.
Okay, let's look at Clementine here. What is Clementine's face looking like? Happy. She looks really excited, really joyful. What does her buggy look like? Nothing. Nothing's in it. It's empty. Okay. Now, if you look here, we can see the different ones. So we've got Brad and Oliver. They're all over, moving all over. Well, then we see Clementine, and she's just kind of leisurely taking her time, walking through, looking at all the different things that's there and making a decision. Okay? We see finally at the end, Clementine picks up one thing off of the shelf, but her face is still what? She's still happy. She's still excited because she picked out one thing that she really, really wanted and was really excited about. Now, we know that in Clementine's purchase of what she got, that her happiness was off the charts, right? It was way more than either one of the boys, and she had way less things inside of her cart. But what did she say? She found something that made her happy. Okay, so I want you to think about this. And you can kind of talk to your partner. I'm going to give you 3 questions. I want you and your partner to discuss those questions and talk about those things before we move on to the next part of our lesson. Okay, if you were one of the kids who were shopping, what would you put in your cart? Think about a toy store. I want you and your partner on your little Post-it note, I want you to write down what are some of the things that you and your partner think you would get if you were inside the store. Okay? The next thing, are those things listed needs or wants? So out beside each little thing that you list, I want you to put on there whether it's a need or whether it's a want. Okay? And then the last question for you to think about, do you think the things in your cart would make you happy? Look at the list of things that you would buy inside the toy store or that you would get inside the toy store and tell me if those things would make you happy. And if they wouldn't necessarily make you happy, what kind of emotion do they make you feel when you think about those? Okay? Get into your groups and you can start.